I am 40 years old and I was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2021. A little bit of history. I had a colonoscopy in, I would say it was around 2017. I had some gastro issues. I was trying to figure out kind of what was going on. And at that time I had a polyp, and it was removed and everything was okay. And they had told me to come back for another colonoscopy. So I came back, I think it was 2 years later, I had another polyp. And so they said, you need to come back just because this keeps recurring. So uh, in 2021, early 2021, I had a colonoscopy, and this would have been right before COVID hit. I had a colonoscopy, and there was a polyp in inside of me that wasn't cancer, but it was a little bit tricky for our physician to remove here in the small town that we were in. And he said, we need a gastroenterologist to do this because there is a chance of a perforated bowel if I do this. So you need to go to a larger city where they have the, ability to deal with that if it happens. So finished the colonoscopy. That was the end of it. And by the time they could get me in, COVID had hit. And I was pregnant. So I was pregnant with my third child at the time. And so the gastroenterologist said, it's not cancer yet. Let's just wait. We can't obviously do a colonoscopy while you're pregnant. It looks like it's going to be okay. We'll do it after you have the baby. So in November of 2021, I had a fairly, not a very good childbirth, and an emergency C-section. It was pretty tremendously hard on my body, but we had a beautiful baby girl, our third child. And then I had to go for this colonoscopy. So once my body had kind of healed, I gave myself a couple months. In April, I went in for a colonoscopy to have that polyp removed. And in the time that I was pregnant, it had turned into cancer. So at that time, in April of 2021, it was still everything was shut down. So I went up for the colonoscopy by myself. My daughter was 5 months old. My husband and my daughter waited in the parking lot. I nursed her. I went up to the unit. I had my colonoscopy, and then when I woke up, everyone was kind of gathered around me. The anesthesiologist was even there, and they just said, "I'm really sorry, but you have cancer." And I looked at him and I said, how do you know that? Don't you have to send that away? Can't you, how is this possible? And he just said, I've been doing this since the dinosaurs roamed the earth. I can tell you right now that it's cancer, but we'll send it away. And it was really hard. I was by myself. My breast milk was leaking out. I was a mess. I was only 5 months postpartum. I still wasn't fully healed from my C-section. 3 kids at home and my husband waiting down the parking lot. So the nurse walked me down to the parking lot where my husband and baby were. We got in the car and we just kind of took a deep breath and said, okay, we're going to get through this. Let's do this. We'll figure it out. And we drove home. It was 2 hours to drive home from there. And we shared the news with our family. And I would say, after that, it was pretty up and down. I still had a lot of postpartum hormones running through my body, a little bit of postpartum depression, exhaustion, because we have 3 kids. At the time, they were 11, 3, and 5 months old. So my 3-year-old still wasn't sleeping through the night. We were always exhausted. We were chasing my 11-year-old around the hockey rinks. And, it was hard. I remember thinking, why me? I remember kind of curling up on my laundry room floor and just sobbing uncontrollably, which I know had a lot to do with my hormones at the time. But it was pretty scary. And too, when you're diagnosed with colon cancer, lots of times they can't tell you if it's spread or not until they do surgery. So I had no idea. I didn't know what the treatment would be. I just knew that they were going to send me for a hemicolectomy, and after that, they would then determine what was next in this instance. So you don't know. You just don't know. So
Yeah.
Sense of self, sense of guilt, sense of what did I do? I'm not a patient. I am a strong, independent woman. I am a change maker. Did I eat too much bologna? All of these things that go through your mind. Do I need to cut red meat out? Did I do this to myself? And then comparing myself to other people thinking I'm healthy. All these things. And all of those things go through your mind because it does kind of change the way you look at yourself. When you hear so and so has cancer, you're like, oh my goodness, that's awful. And you think about their life and all of a sudden it's you. And you don't really know what to do with that. And and you do have to share it with your family and your friends and you have to let them in and you have to, allow people to help you. But there's a lot of things going on in your own head around who you are and your identity for sure. I would say that is absolutely bang on because it's there's just so much that goes through your brain when it comes to becoming a patient.